Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Caroline Leaf, and welcome to my podcast, Cleaning Up the Mental Mess. Today, we're going to talk about something really interesting and quite challenging and maybe a little emotional almost, and that is how to do a pre-mortem on your life. But before I dive in, I just want to ask you to please rate and review the show. It really helps us to produce these podcasts and share with friends and family. Hey guys, what I'm doing is helping you and me, so let's help each other. And there's great topics and great things that you can use. So rate, review, and share. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, so let's dive in. What do I mean by a premortem? I read this amazing article. It was so interesting. It was an article in the Wall Street Journal by journalist Ben Cohen, and it really grabbed my attention, and I think it's just a brilliant concept. And this is the title. Forget about making a New Year's resolution. Have you tried imagining your deathbed? The link is in the show notes for this article. I know that sounds kind of morbid, but we've got to redefine how we see death. But that's off the podcast. There'll be another one. But let's talk about this particular article. Forget about making a New Year's resolution. Have you tried imagining your deathbed? I mean, we all know New Year's resolutions are just like, we all do them and they don't always, work. And there's so much, it's almost nauseating how much is written about them. And we need them. I mean, it's great to start a new year with all these resolutions. But this was brilliant. This really shifted my perspective, and I believe it will shift yours. Okay, so it's an article about the billionaire, Ron Schaich, who's the founder of Panera Bread, and whose annual ritual on his birthday, on the 30th of December every year, is to ask himself this question. What can I do in the next 3 to 5 years that I will respect looking back from my deathbed? I mean, it's profound. Just think about it. Ask yourself, what can you do in the next 3 to 5 years that you will respect when you are on your deathbed and you're looking back? What do you want? What is it that you're lying there, you're about to die or whatever, and you're looking back? What is it that you want to do in the next 3 to 5 years? And he does this every year, so he keeps updating it. So, because we obviously we don't know when we're going to die, or transition. So the New Year's resolution zeitgeist, we know, is nauseatingly overdone and very often so frustrating. So I love this idea of this pre-mortem, before you die. So when someone passes, a post-mortem is done to establish the cause of death. So by contrast, we're looking at a pre-mortem, what can we do in advance of our death to change how we live our lives on this earth, and how we are focusing on how we are being a decent human, and what is the legacy that we want to leave. And I know we kind of think about that, but have you sat down and made this an actual goal? So Ron Schaich says, I imagine my body old and fragile, my breathing shallow, my life energy almost extinguished. He wrote that in his book, Know What Matters, and he published that in 2023. So his book is called Know What Matters, Ron Schaich, and it was released in 2023. He said, I try to evoke the feelings I want to have in that moment. And then he says he wants a sense of peace, completion, and most importantly, self-respect. Then he says, I ask myself, what am I going to do now to ensure that when I reach this point, I've done what I need to do? It shook me up. And I also thought for a moment I stopped and I thought, well, let me think of myself at that point and think, what would I feel in that moment? I definitely want a sense of peace, a sense of completion and self-respect, and to know that I've left a legacy and that I lived my last years well. You don't have to be old to do this. We don't know what life holds in the next moment, as we all know. I mean, I'm saying what you know. But we've got to shift how we look at life, how we live each day. And the busyness of life can really shatter our ability to be more proactive with this pre-mortem type thinking versus just reactive and getting sucked into the busyness. And listen, you can see I'm quite passionate about this because I've been sucked into that. I had to catch myself, and I don't want to be like that anymore. And so I love this idea. Okay. He said this idea was stimulated by the passing of his parents. His mother passed with no regrets and totally at peace. But his father was racked with remorse and regret. I don't want to be racked with remorse and regret. I want to pass and transition with no regrets, and with peace. He says, don't wait until the end to decide if you're proud of your life. Do it before it's too late. Be proud of your life now. Start planning that now. Do it while you can still do something about it. This is amazing. So if you're not proud of your life at the moment, you can do something about this. You don't have to beat yourself up and get worse. You can actually do something about it. That's what this whole podcast is about. That's what the neurocycle that I've developed, which is the system for how you can manage your mind. And your mind is 99% of who you are. Your brain and body are 1%. And that combination is how you show up. So spending time on these deeply spiritual mind activities like premortems is a really good idea. This line in this article really stopped me short. He says he's got 1,500 to 7,500 days left. So he's estimating, based on how long we live, who knows, etc. But assuming he's going to live maybe till 80 or 90, whatever he decided that was, he says he's got 1,500 to 7,500 days left. And it's literally a call to how do I want to spend each of those 1,500 to 7,500 days left. With that reminder, that time is a sacred commodity while we in this brief time on earth in comparison to eternity, but it's still sacred. We're here for a purpose. We're here to leave that legacy. We're here to leave an imprint of kindness and love. So that time commodity concept of 1,500 to 7,500 days left, he then writes out bullet points that cover everything from health to wealth. And that is guided by the question, what could he do with his life before leaving his physical body? What can I do in the next 3 to 5 years that I will respect looking back from my deathbed? He wants a sense of peace, completion, and self-respect. These are amazing, okay? We all want that. So the general concept is, this is not a new idea. This has been brought up in various different ways. You may be familiar with the concept of memento mori, which is not a new idea. It's the phrase memento mori, which is in art and spirituality, is a symbolic trope or meditative practice that serves as a reminder of our mortality and the transitory nature of earthly pleasures and the transitory nature of physical life on earth, which is just a drop in eternity. The practice of memento mori, or remembering your own drop in eternity, your own death, is often recommended because it fosters a profound awareness of life's transience, encouraging people to prioritize what truly matters. And in this busyness, hustle culture, are you taking the time to prioritize? Are you just kind of saying it as one of the wellness self-help things and making a list and not really doing them? Are you getting entirely immersed in that process? When you start, it's almost eye-opening in a way that may make you even feel a little depressed, a little flat, a little on edge, a little potentially reactive. That's what it did for me when I started this, but it took me to a different height. And I allow myself to go to these different levels, and it shifted my perspective. I look and feel different. I look at life differently. I feel differently about life and about each encounter that I have. And I'm so aware that even if I snap at my husband for some stupid reason, I catch it quickly and sort it out quickly and just deal with things differently. So life reviews is also another common concept that has been around for many, many thousands of years and really becoming more popular as the talk about near-death experiences, or NDEs, has come about. And so life reviews, essentially, as a person passes, it's like their whole life is played out in front of them in 3D and really fast, because time has in the spiritual world, time isn't the same as in the physical world. And it plays out, but you're not seeing your life from only your perspective, which is so limited while we're on this earth, in this earthly body, but you're seeing it from a spiritual perspective with open eyes, and you're seeing your life's impact on other people. So you're seeing your life choices and your life's impact on other people from their perspective. So you literally see you from other people's perspective and the impact that you've had on that in your loved ones and your family and friends and so on. And it's not meant to crush people. It's meant to uplift and make you aware of how you can improve, how you can change, how you can grow, what kind of legacy you want to leave. These questions that come up in Ron Schaich's concept of the premortem. So those are something that, people do life reviews. You can induce a life review. Some people have had a near-death experience and experienced a full life review. I've had a near-death experience, but I didn't have a full life review. I just had a it was a very brief one. It was because it was so fast, the whole experience, even though time is, isn't of essence. But there was such a sense of peace and such a sense of the importance of what I needed to do. And this was a few years ago, and I kind of kept it with me for a while, but then I lost it for a while. And so doing recharge that and put myself back into that mode, because the busyness of life kind of stole a little bit of the depth that brought into my life. There's also a Buddhism concept around this of contemplating your own death. It's a very strong Buddhist concept. And then there's another great book by Oliver Burkeman, who talks about the average human lifespan is about 4,000 weeks, which is about 80 years. And he wrote a book that became a bestseller showing how fascinated people are with this topic, called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. And he did so well with this book because people are really, what I'm saying to you is something that I know appeals to you. It appeals to all of us. And in his book, he encouraged us to do justice, and read the words, to the shimmering possibilities of our 4,000 weeks. Isn't that a beautiful way of thinking about it? He encourages us to do justice to the shimmering possibilities of our 4,000 weeks. So you could almost say, do a premortem. Maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, maybe as often as you feel necessary, to look at the shimmering possibilities of 4,000 weeks, to leave behind that legacy that you will feel a sense of peace with no regrets. So, as I said, I had this experience a little few years ago with this NDE, and got caught up in the busyness of life. And even though I teach these things, I'm very aware of managing your mind. I felt something was missing. So that article kind of helped me to work through something, because you went through a very terrible personal tragedy last year, and going through that, and then a bit of time had passed, and seeing this article a few months later really made me stop and think, okay, maybe this is something I need to do. So I sat down and I did a premortem to look at the shimmering possibilities, to ask myself those questions. I thought about Ron Schaich's statement, and now I try to think about it daily. I try to evoke feelings I want to feel in that moment, a sense of peace, completion, and most importantly, self-respect. So I start from that point, okay? And I put myself in that moment, and I say, I want to be lying there and have a sense of peace, completion, and self-respect. So how can I, in the shimmering moments of the 4,000 weeks of my life and the however many thousand days I have left, how can I make those count in terms of my relationships? What's important to me, my relationships with my husband, my children, my friends, the work that I do, and then just being a decent human in this life. Then I ask myself, what am I going to do now to ensure that when I reach that time of transition, I have done what I needed to do? I made my priorities that I knew were my priorities, and then I actually made a decision to make them materialize. Like, for example, here's a big one that we did. I thought, okay, I want this peace. I want all the stuff that I've just said. I'm going to do this premortem, the days, the weeks, all that stuff. Ask myself that question, to put myself in that position, sense of peace, completion, self-respect. And now, what am I going to do? In fact, I'm going to reread the question. What can I do in the next 3 to 5 years? I ask myself that I will respect looking back from my deathbed. That will give me a sense of peace, completion, and self-respect. So the first thing is that the personal tragedy came up, and I thought, okay, I've got to change our lifestyle. We live in one place. One of our kids lives in another place, another one in another place, another one in another place, all over the place. I travel extensively, Mac and I, and we're good about getting together with our family. We talk every single day. My kids are in the business, and we're good about meeting for Christmas and holidays and major events and flying to each other. But it's always such a lot of organizing. It's not just that if there's an emergency that happens with one of my kids or with myself or Mac, that I can just jump in my car and drive 10 minutes down the road. I have to arrange to get 9 hours across to one part of the country, 9 hours across overseas, or 10 hours, 12 hours. It's not a simple matter. So that was worrying me. I'm 61, max 70. I want to be close to my children. I have 2 grandchildren. I want to be close to them. I want to be able to play with my little 15-month-old and my little newborn grandchild, my 2 grandchildren, one 15-month, one just 6 weeks old. I want to be able to be close to my kids. I want to be able to just say, hey, come over for dinner. I've made this great lasagna or whatever. So we have 2 homes. We had one in Dallas, one in Miami. And what we did was put them on the market. We thought, okay, let's find a central location that we all want to live. We decided on that. And we all made moves to move to that central location. So in the last couple of months, we sold both our homes, both within a week, very fast. And we bought a new house, and we now are moving to this place. As I'm speaking at this moment, we actually have moved out of the one place completely, and we move out of the Miami home next week. And then we will be moving basically from February. We will be in our new home, which is just down the road from my son and his husband. And I'm going to be moving, my other daughter and her children are going to be moving, and husband and children are moving over, and my other daughter. So we're all going to be in one place, which means that we can visit each other easily. So that was a radical thing. I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, we've been playing with the idea of doing something like this for a couple of years now. But my studio is in Dallas, and it's convenient just to be life, Miami, whatever. The sunshine, the beach, you have an amazing view. Everything's set up, the house, whatever. We changed it all. We made a radical decision because I don't want to be in 5 years from now or 10 years from now on my deathbed thinking I didn't spend enough time with my children. I didn't see all those special moments with my grandchildren. I didn't have enough. I wasn't close enough to be there for the emergencies or for the high days and holidays. I didn't have to think to make a plan to travel 9 hours to get there. So we did that. Okay. So I want to, and then in terms of my research, I've got a research team. I do this research, but we really dived in and made an absolute strategic plan for what do I want to achieve with my research over the next year, the next 2 years, the next 5 years, and wrote it down and actually created a very specific plan that would really help to understand how we manage our thoughts, how we manage our mind, how to not fall into traps of addiction, how to help people that are battling with suicidal ideation, how to help people that just want to manage their thought life, which is all of us, and get some really good science to help people understand what it means to tap into the unconscious mind and understand it even better myself and improve our neurocycle apps. I've really made massive plans because I want to know that I have done everything that I can to contribute to people's mental health. Now, that's my side. I can go on and on and on, but I also, one of the other things on a personal level, I just think this world that we live in is not kind enough, and kindness is so vitally important. I've done a podcast on this, and I recommend you listen to it. But essentially, when you have a 3 to 4 minute moment where you're kind, you get this when you're kind, if you have a moment of kindness towards yourself or someone else, you get this 3 to 4 minute helper's high, chemical boost in your mind-brain body networks. That's so good for everything, health-wise, mental health-wise, cognitively wise, creatively wise. But that will drop after 3 or 4 minutes. So we're not supposed to design to just be kind for a little bit. We're designed to be kind all day long. So on a personal level, I am a kind person, but I have to be kinder. And I can be kinder all the time. And I can be more patient. And I can be deliberate and intentional about building that in my life. Okay, so there's enough about me, but there's how I shifted. And those were things that were part of my life, but they're different. They're a different level. It's not just talk, it's actual doing and actively doing this. And I will continue to do this so that I can have that sense of peace. So here's some phrases another very thing that also really stimulated me. I did a social media post on this too. Of course, everyone's related to this. Of course, everyone's life is different. Yet most people, according to Pulitzer Prize-winning author and oncologist Siddhartha Mukherjee, I hope I've pronounced it right, he said, and he works, obviously, as an oncologist, works with people on their deathbeds, and he wrote a book about this, and he's a Pulitzer Prize winner and oncologist, Siddhartha Mukherjee. He said, these 4 phrases are the most common ones, and I believe that these are really 4 great lessons for doing a premortem. Sorry, my computer's playing up again. Okay, I'm back. Okay, these 4 phrases. I want to tell you that I love you. I want to tell you I forgive you. Would you tell me that you love me? Would you give me your forgiveness? So part of my premortem is those questions guide me. And those questions pop up. I keep those questions revolving around in my head. I've made put these questions into my notes section, and I make sure that I look at these on a daily basis. But I want to make sure that I have got these guiding me. I want to tell you that I love you. I want to tell you that I forgive you. Would you tell me that you love me? Would you give me your forgiveness? So that's just the guiding framework type questions, because to help me to make sure that I've got that being built into my life with the people that I care about. So these are the 4 things that this Dr. Mukherjee has said that are 4 of the most common phrases that people say to him on their deathbed. And we can, and in a premortem, when you take this approach, can lead you to realize there's no point in harboring grudges. There's no point in unforgiveness. There's no point in keeping unresolved guilt inside of you. And there's no point in being afraid of being vulnerable. Because harboring grudges, unforgiveness, unresolved guilt, and being afraid of being too vulnerable is going to block you from really getting to that essence of how you're going to find your shimmering moments in the remaining weeks of your life. So, don't wait until the end to decide if you're proud of your life. Do it before it's too late. Do it while you can still do something about it. Let me leave you with these questions. How many of your 4,000 weeks are left? I mean, this is a guess, but, write it down. What can you do in the next 3 to 5 years? Okay, let me just quickly go back to that one. How many of your 4,000 weeks are left? I'm 61. 4,000 weeks is 80 years. So then I can work that out and I can estimate. Do I want to live to 80 or 90? I want to live to at least 95. I want to be around for all my great-grandchildren's. See my great-grandchildren get married, whatever. I want to be around doing this mental health stuff, this mind stuff for years, whatever. So ask yourself that. How many of your 4,000 weeks are left? What can you do in the next 3 to 5 years that you will respect looking back from your deathbed? What can you do right now if this moment was your last? There is no guarantee about tomorrow. And if a certain person was gone tomorrow, how would you feel about how things are right now with them? And what would you do? Lots to think about. Go re-listen to this and apply it. You will not be sorry. And keep applying it. And just before I go, I am so excited to share about my new book, Help in a Hurry, coming out on the 5th of August. And this is a book that will help you get that chaos that happens when you just have these things thrown at you, life just throwing you into chaos and increasing burnout and anxiety. Help in a Hurry is a book that has simple science, simple techniques to help you get out of those moments in a hurry. Filled with great titles. These are some of the titles, chapter titles. Help, what's going on in my head. Help, I'm under pressure. Help, my brain won't shut up. Help, I want to punch that person in the face. Help, the world seems so black and white. Help, I'm tired all the time. Help, my regrets are helping me back. All kinds of stuff to help you. And if you pre-order now, and if you go to right now to helpinahurrybook.com, so helpinahurrybook.com, I've got some amazing free bonuses. Okay, so there's a masterclass led by me, and where I'll walk you through life-changing concepts from the book. There's an exclusive early access to some of the chapters, get a sneak peek of the book early in digital format. There's an invitation to join my private launch team, where you'll get behind-the-scenes access to me and connect with other awesome like-minded people. You'll get a fast action study guide with a fill-in-the-blank workbook to help you implement the book's principles fast. All of these bonuses together are valued at like $426, but they're yours free if you go now and pre-order the book at helpinahurrybook.com. The link and details will be in the show notes as well. And we'll send you all the goodies. Fill in the form and we'll send you all the goodies. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time.